Hi, Lee Phillips here. I want to talk to you about how to put an LLC into a trust. One of the things that estate planners often forget, and your corporate or your LLC attorneys often forget, is that an LLC or corporation or a limited partnership or whatever it is an asset, and it requires your signature in order to transfer. The whole estate planning, avoiding probate deal is to put assets into a living revocable trust that require your signature. After you're dead, you can't sign, but if we put them in the trust owns them. The new successor trustee guy, they can sign, and away you go, no probate. The thing that's often forgotten is your little company, your LLC, your corporation, whatever it is. How do you get a little company into your trust so it doesn't have to be probated? And the fact is, like 95% of all companies in the United States fail after the founder, the owner, dies. One of the problems is the doctor dies. By the time we get his practice, his company, through probate, we've lost all the clients and everything else, the patients. The practice isn't worth anything anymore. So let's take and assume that you already have an LLC or a corporation, and it's basically going to be the same procedure. What we're going to do is we've got to change ownership of the company from you to the living revocable trust. And I don't know how many YouTubes I've said this in or how many times I've said it. There are three parts to the name of your trust. The first part is the name of the trust, the ugly light trust or whatever it is, the date the trust was created on, under agreement, or U/A, 10/31/18, whatever it is, and the trustee's name, trustee, John Doe trustee. Those three parts. Those have to be on the ownership documents of your company. What are the ownership documents? Well, in some states, it's required that you list the members of the LLC or even the shareholders of a closely held corporation. So you may have to go to the state and change paperwork at the state. That depends upon which state you're in. You can call the state, ask them, say, I'm changing the ownership of my company from me to my living revocable trust, or from me to my brother, or whatever it is, and ask if you need to file with the state. Some states require that you have a filing every year with them, and on that form it asks if you added any members, if you added any stockholders, and you can make the change there. If not, you can amend your articles of organization or your articles of incorporation or whatever it is at the state and add the name of the trust. Take your name off. Your name's not going to be there anymore. The trust name is going to be there. Then there are internal places where you have to make that correction. These are your paperworks. One, you probably listed your members or your stockholders on your operating agreement for the LLC or the bylaws of the corporation. That's not uncommon to have the owners listed there. Your name's going to be on the paperwork associated with the operating agreement. You're going to have to go in, make an amendment to the operating agreement. There will be a section, a paragraph in your operating agreement that tells you how the operating agreement or the bylaws in the corporation can be amended. You got to follow that paragraph. It's going to require a vote of the members, approval of the members. It's going to require the approval of the manager. It's going to tell you how it is to be taken care of. That's fine. Go in, take care of it that way. That means you're going to have a meeting that says, resolved, we amend the operating agreement such and such a date. You don't even need to say why or what you amended in those minute meetings. That's another YouTube, how to take minutes in your LLC or your corporation. But you make that entry in the minutes, and then you make the amendment and show the new ownership, not your name, but the trust's name, name of trust, date of trust, trustee, on that paperwork. Now, you should have, and often we don't, right? Shouldn't do that. But you should have basically a stock ledger or a membership ledger. And on that, you write down certificate number 1 issued to you, your name, such and such a date. You're going to pull back the stock certificate or the membership interest certificate for the LLC. You're going to pull that back. You're going to write void on it. Put that in the file, in the paperwork with the company. And then you're going to issue stock certificate or membership certificate number 2. And that's going to be to living revocable trust, name, date, trustee. And you're going to make out a new membership certificate, like a stock certificate. And you are going to change the log. On the certificate number 1, you write voided such and such a date, replaced by certificate number 2, and it goes to the living revocable trust. We have now moved ownership of your LLC from you to your living revocable trust. Now you're the trustee, you do everything just like you always did, no problem. But when you die, you don't own it and we don't have to probate it. It's a big deal. This is Lee Phillips talking on how you would move ownership of a corporation or an LLC from your name into your living revocable trust's name.